It's been a really long time since I posted on here, and I kind of contemplated whether or not I should ever come back, but from some recent comments from either friends or just on my Instagram, it seems maybe there's even one or two people that might be interested. So I thought I'd start by kind of, actually I wasn't really sure where to start, but I kind of go into everything and why I haven't posted on here more towards the end, and I actually give you a whole half an hour spiel. But I thought I'd start the video with some things that I feel make my mornings just like a really safe space. And I also listened to a podcast recently where this girl is talking about her morning routine, and she says that she sets the intention to do things, but if she doesn't do them, then it's okay too, because I think if we are too strict on ourselves with things, we end up just feeling disappointed in ourselves and then quit. And then I know I find that so true for myself.
Cherry red, match the roses that you lay. I can buy myself flowers, write my name in the sand, talk to myself for hours. I didn't wanna fight, started to cry.
So most of my mornings start with things like these, and then I usually get stuck into some work. This was quite an interesting day with ASOS Marketplace, but I have not got a clue what Web3 is and the metaverse. It's all just so over my head. But anyways, let's get into it. I started talking for like 5 minutes, and then I was like, I am talking absolute bullshit it didn't even make sense to me. So I'm gonna start again, and I think I want this to be like quite a positive video based on like how I'm doing and what my plans are, because I feel like if you follow any of my other social platforms, like I've had a bit of a tough few months, you know, and I think like one thing that like has made my whole, like even the whole of last year really difficult is like I think I realized that like a lot of the things that I was doing, or like the way that I was living, was like to try to prove things to like other people. So I don't know, say for example, like I guess like in the relationship that I was in, like despite me like getting gut instincts or not being happy about certain things, and you know, even feeling at times like I don't think this is worth it, being like telling myself like relationships are hard work and I shouldn't walk away just because something has annoyed me, which I do think is true to a certain extent. But then I also think when there's certain aspects that like, you know, things you've said before and it's like continued disappointment, I guess, and like things you've said before and there's no change, then I think it's like time to, and this goes for like friendships as well. Like I just think if you're continuously being let down or like upset, or kind of even also feel like you can't speak up about something because your feelings, maybe you might feel like they're invalid if you bring them up, like that's like no. But I think because the relationship I was in before that one wasn't a very healthy relationship either, I guess. I think I wanted to, I guess, just try to be, I guess I just wanted to like prove to myself that I could like be in a healthy relationship, but not even just prove to myself, like also like prove to other people. But even when it comes down to the like proving it to myself kind of thing, I'm like the most unhealthy thing that I could have done for myself in that situation. Sorry, I'm looking for something. There we go. The most unhealthy thing that I could have done for myself in that situation was be complacent with things that I wasn't happy with because I was trying to prove that I could be in a healthy relationship, you know. So yeah, and like don't get me wrong, like it wasn't like horrific stuff, but just like little day-to-day things that over time were like continuously kind of like, I just continuously felt like anxious or let down, and then when nothing was changing and I was still just like putting up with that, like that's a disrespect to myself, you know. So yeah, I think like the biggest lesson from that has been like, and I think as well, I just like wanted to, you know, like be like, oh yeah, I'm really happy right now, and like, oh, I'm like in love or whatever, and blah 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 blah. And so I just like went along with it for kind of like the
image of it, I guess, in some ways, which is like so crazy because I just don't really see myself as being someone who has to have certain things in order to appear to be happy, but that's like exactly what I was doing, I guess. And even I guess like I don't know, I guess like even the way that I was like working, I don't know, but I don't know, I think as well like all of that like definitely spilt over into like how I was living other aspects of my life. So say for example working, like I think because that was what I was so focused on, because of the anxiety like it caused me, I just kind of felt like then like because all I was focused on was like living my life a certain way, especially I guess like you come home from living in Bali for 3 months, and I kind of felt like I had something to prove. And also I think I also have this massive, and even before I left, I think I had this massive insecurity about working for myself and like people taking my brand seriously and all that kind of thing. And I still do. I still, even sometimes like I feel so anxious about sharing things that I'm doing for my brand, and I know it's just something that I just like really have to work on, but I literally just have no kind of self-confidence and self-esteem in like in doing those things. And I feel then like my self-esteem being affected by everything else that was going on, it just like plummeted even further. And so I feel like I was like trying to live up to this whole image, but it wasn't coming from a place of 100% authenticity. And then because of that, like, you know, the success of not only like my brand but also like my personal brand, my personal content, my personal like everything that I was putting out, like I just there was so much lacking from it. And I feel like that's something like huge that I'm like really like focused on working on right now. So even I guess like a huge thing for me coming into this year, I guess, was just like, you know, really sitting with my gut and listening to my gut. And even it's like kind of been, it's been like a really like interesting year so far. So even like before Christmas, I was kind of doing a few days a week work with like a digital marketing agency, and then I stopped that just after Christmas. There just wasn't enough work, I think, because I hadn't done any social content, like social media, I can't speak. I hadn't been putting any effort into my own work before Christmas, probably from, other than the drop with Barbara before Christmas, that actually went really well. But other than that, like I just had, especially after going through the breakup and then the turbulence that came with that, my self-esteem was so low. And you know, I was going through these periods of extreme lows, and just like all I could really focus on was how much I hated myself. And then once like after Christmas came, I was like, I can't do that to myself anymore. Like I need to change the way that I lived. And I knew that I hadn't been putting effort into my own work, and I was genuinely really upset about that. And I was just like, I hate that I haven't been like creative, and I just like hate this person that I've become. So like for me, it was just like really sitting down and like tapping into what feels authentic to me, and what is something that I care about, and what kind of message do I want to give out to people when I'm posting. And I think it was like, I say it was as if it's past tense, but like all of this shit that I'm doing like is quite intense, and I'm still working with my therapist, but it's been really interesting, because I think the biggest kind of thing for me is like recognizing that a lot of the bad traits that I was seeing in another person, in not just the relationship that I just ended, but in every relationship that I've been in, both platonic and romantic, all of the bad traits that I was seeing in people were more often than not something that like then I started recognizing, okay, I need to look at that and like mirror it and see where does that come up for me, like doing it to other people, and how can I improve on that? Because all I can be is like the best version of myself, and I can't change anybody else. And then so I think like sitting with all of these things has been fucking intense. I've been doing so much inner child work, and it's been really fucking painful. Like painful, but also I've been crying and I've been releasing, and like in a different way to like the last time I kind of went through something like this, because I feel like the last time was kind of all about the people and all about like kind of the immediate problems, is where I feel like this time I'm like actually sitting with where has this problem come from, kind of, and the patterns that have like led me to come here. And yeah, just like I went to Anna's retreat there a few weeks ago, and I cried so much in the cacao ceremony. I'd never done a cacao ceremony before. And I think like, yeah, like just my biggest goal like right now is like sitting with all of these things and just like kind of figuring out the patterns and how to spot them more clearly. And I really think like everything that I went through in the past like year and a half or so, like it's kind of the universe now being like to me, bitch, you knew, because even, you know, there were certain like gut feelings I had on things when I was away, and I would ask questions and I would like, you know, whatever, but I always just kind of was like, even though I swear to you now, there's certain things that happened that I could like pinpoint dates of and all this kind of stuff that was literally my gut telling me, but I was just like, I think especially because of everything that I'd been through before, like I was kind of just like, oh no, like this is just me like overthinking it, blah 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 blah. And now I'm like, no bitch, you were fucking right. And I think what I'm kind of learning, especially, I don't know, I spoke a lot about that book Attached on my TikTok, and I've learned so much from that. And I think like I really genuinely am actually, I don't even think I recognized how like anxiously attached my attachment style can be, like especially in the wrong relationship with somebody who doesn't respect me or understand my attachment style, or has also got like an insecure attachment style, and just like being able to pick up when two people like are just not going to work for each other. And I think for me, I'm kind of now just really working on not being attached to like anyone or anything, and I think you can do that without closing yourself off to people as well, because I think it would be so easy for me now to go from like being really anxiously attached to being avoidant, because like I wouldn't die, but I don't want to, because I fucking love people and I love loving people, and that's not even just romantically, that's platonically as well, because I've had fucked up friendships too. I think everybody has, and I think even that in itself has kind of been a lesson to me, because it's kind of like, I think, yeah, just like knowing that I don't have to keep people in my life, and I've always been pretty good at that, but like I think now what I'm working on is like not letting like the fear of like being on my own, and like I always used to be like, I'm so independent and like I'm better on my own and blah 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 blah, but like I don't think anyone is better alone. I think we all need people, and I say like, oh, I'm better on my own, but I don't think I actually mean it, because I constantly call my friends about things, or I love calling my friends just to see how they are, or I love when I'm in a relationship and we're like best friends. That's like one of my favorite feelings in the world, is like getting to love your best friend. Like that's the coolest shit ever. I really love being in love, so I really don't want to, like my aim here is to like, I guess one of my biggest goals is to like build up my boundaries and build up my fucking self-respect for myself so much that no matter how much I think I like someone or whatever, like that if I feel like my boundaries are being broken, or that like if I'm being disrespected, like I don't need that person. That person brings no value to my life. Like I think it's so easy to just think like, people deserve chances or all these kind of things, but it's like at the end of the day we have to protect ourselves. Like we are important. We are so important. I feel like I lost so much of myself last year to anxiety, and I'm like, I genuinely feel sad about it, because I'm like, but it's like, it's an okay sadness, because I'm like, the way I look at it, it's like maybe I just wasn't ready to deal with all of this stuff that I've kind of been working through lately. Maybe this time last year, like that just wasn't an option for me to be able to deal with it right then, but I guess it is sad, because I kind of feel like I lost being 26. Like I just don't even feel like it just wasn't even me that was there, you know, and also the version of me that was kind of showing up, like I'm not proud of. So yeah, that's like kind of also something that like I'm kind of working on, but it's like really interesting too, because even things that I was thinking about, like I said to my therapist the other day, I was like, I just feel like I'm kind of mourning so many versions of myself, which is like nice too. And even I said, you know, like last year when I came home from Bali and some things happened, like my first reaction and response was, you know, I was looking back at photos from the summer before I went, when I was like so happy and I was like this independent, carefree queen, and I had pink hair. So my first response this time last year when I came home and shit hit the fan was, oh my god, I'm gonna dye my hair pink. But I even think like I had this attachment to that person that I was then. Like I needed to accept that that person didn't exist, because as soon as I dyed my hair pink, I hated it, and I just was unhappy still. So I think like something I'm really working on now is being able to grieve and mourn versions of me that existed and like be okay with it, accept that like something new and even bigger is kind of coming in, and that's okay, and it's really fucking exciting. Something else I'm kind of working on as well is just like trusting the universe. And I think I definitely, like, due to like my anxiety and everything last year, also like I feel like I lost a lot of my spiritual kind of, my trust in the universe and like spiritual practices because of the people around me as well, and like, you know, being kind of made to feel like I was delusional for thinking these things. But like a little bit of delusion is motherfucking healthy, okay? So yeah, I just feel like I was like constantly worried about like where things were coming from, and that was when like subtle poison started to like not do well, and it really upset me. But again, I really just think I was like so focused on the wrong things, and that's like why I genuinely feel like everything like happens for a reason. So even me like not having that kind of like more stable income anymore, like from Christmas, I was like, okay, this is my time to fucking shine. I was like, no, we're going and we're getting it. And so I've literally like got myself a mentor through like the local enterprise office, and I've just been like reading so many books, and like also just like doing as many like free courses and everything that I can. Like, you know, I just like I'm utilizing and like trusting and like really putting the work in behind the scenes and not worrying about how things are gonna happen. And I'm also just really trying to go back to this space of like complete authenticity. And what I mean by that is kind of even just like I think especially because I kind of knew the end result of the relationship I was in last year, it didn't really feel like that authentic, because I guess I knew, like I was putting out one image of it, but I knew the anxiety that I was suffering in the background constantly. So I guess there was like that level of inauthenticity. So like, how could I be authentic when I wasn't true to myself, you know? And like giving myself what I needed, like, and also putting so much like reliability, I guess, on another person. And not even because like, not even in the sense that like, oh, I needed this person to do everything for me, because like I'm not that type of person. I am and always have been like really independent, but like I guess like I just kind of forgot that there's certain things like, you know, nurturing myself, like I can do that for myself. And I think the more I wanted it from another person and the less that I was getting it, the more I just stopped giving it to myself, and even stopped like a lot of self-care practices. I wasn't going to therapy, like all this kind of stuff, like I just like lost those for myself. And so like now even like going back to those things, and like also really, as I said, like doing all this healing work and like sitting with myself and realizing what is it that I actually need. And then recognizing that like my inner child needs to be nurtured, and she needs playtime, and she needs love, and she needs good people around her that support her. I'm now back in this place of like complete authenticity. And I think even when it comes down to like subtle poison, I think I'm like, you know, now that's why I'm kind of like, okay, I'm now able to not focus or worry on like how the brand is paying for itself, or you know, like I feel like last year all I was focused on was like selling things, is where this year obviously I need to sell things, because like how does a brand survive otherwise? But that's not my priority this year. Like my priority is like, what is the brand, who do we stand for? And I feel like I'm like tying it so much into like my personal life, which is kind of how I feel like it started. But I also like, I jumped into that brand. I was literally, what's that, I was like Bambi in the feckin' headlights. I didn't even know what a profit margin was until like last year. Like, hello, how not to start a business. But you know, even when I spoke to my business mentor for the first time, we had actually spoke before I went to Bali, and then she remembered me, which was really nice, and was like, I was so impressed by you and your business. And I was like, look, I kind of fucked up. Like, I went to Bali, it probably wasn't the smartest business move, like blah 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 blah. And something that was so nice was like, she was like to me, Grania, like your brand screams freedom to me. And she was like, so you going off to Bali, whilst on paper it might not be like, you know, a financial advisor or a business advisor's like best business decision, she was like, I genuinely think that was a great business decision for you, because that's what your brand is all about. And I think even hearing that from an external person and like someone who's just looking in on the brand, like gave me so much motivation, because I was like, oh okay, I'm not doing too bad, you know. So I think, yeah, like my biggest goals, like, and where I'm at right now is just like really like tapping into being my own best friend, and like being a boss ass bitch as well. And not even in the sense, because I feel like the last time I kind of went through this, I kind of made it all about like, fuck men, I don't need men, like I'm a strong independent woman, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yes, I think all of that is still true, and I am a strong independent woman, but I just don't think I have to be someone who's like, fuck men, blah 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 blah. Because I'm like, I fucking love men. Sometimes I wish that I didn't, because maybe my life would be easier. But and I used to think maybe I'm a little bit bi, but I don't think I am. I think I'm 100% straight, and honestly it's quite disappointing, because women are so fucking beautiful. But like, no, I'm 100% straight. I love men. I love when I have relationships with men. I honestly think men are great, but I just also need to figure out how to like not become the little anxiously attached shell of myself when I'm in a relationship. So I think like this time around, like what's different when I'm doing this is I'm like, I don't hate men, but I just love myself way too much to lower my standards or my boundaries for any man, maybe except, who is it that Colin Farrell, maybe except Colin Farrell. And I know he was probably a bit of a gaslighting queen. But yeah, I think like, you know, just like tapping into all of those things while also putting my business first right now. And I think like that's the main thing. And I feel like I listened to Jay Shetty's podcast where he spoke about, you know, like setting like your intention for each year, you know. So I feel like 2021 for me was like, yeah, I launched my brand, and then I went to Bali. So that was like kind of career-y, but also I think that was kind of like a self-discovery year for me, because I was like working full-time. I didn't really know what I wanted from life. I decided to start my brand. I went part-time. I went to Bali. It was very much like self-discovery. And also I look at it, I'm like, I was 24, 25 that year, you know, like that's so fucking young. Then last year I was obviously in Bali at the start of the year, but I guess I kind of still wanted it to be this like airy fairy kind of travel lifestyle. And I was like going up and down to Clare, obviously these reasons. And I fucking loved that, and I love Miss Claire so much. I wanted to live this whole freedom kind of lifestyle, and I was going to festivals again. And I think that also kind of showed me that again, I think that was kind of like self-discovery, and it was about like last year was about that relationship, I guess. Is where like this year I came in with the intention of being like, my career is my intention this year. And this is what Jay Shetty was kind of talking about, like you need to set your intention for the year. And maybe I had never done that before, but subconsciously kind of had. But yeah, I guess like this year I came in with the intention of being like, my brand is all I care about this year. But I think, I guess, like from the place of authenticity and from the self-discovery that I have done in the previous 2 years, like it's really kind of allowed me to see what I actually want from life, and that is like, okay, I fucking love my brand. I love the potential it has to really celebrate people, and in particular like women, and just like freedom seekers, and like people who, like me, you know, want to express themselves through colorful clothing and just living this kind of freedom lifestyle of like roller skating, like, but still wearing your groovy clothing, and like being into fashion, and like being into so many hobbies that you like, no one can put you in one box. Like that's what I want the brand to represent. And I feel like all of the shit that I've been through in the past year and a half or so has kind of like brought me to this point. And so while I'm like, that was so painful, I finally feel like I'm coming out the other end, and I'm able to look at everything and just be like, it makes sense. It really fucking makes sense. I also haven't drank in 10 weeks. I kind of spoke about this on my TikTok yesterday, and like, you know, even that, like, I feel like I made so many excuses for my relationship with alcohol, and was just kind of like, oh, I don't have a problem, blah 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 blah. And I do think a lot of what I was going through was what was causing all of this shit to happen, because, you know, I had my relationship with alcohol was absolutely like, it's like, I feel like it's always been a bit tumultuous because of the emotional states that I've kind of been in throughout my life. So like the eating disorder, blah 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 blah, all that kind of shit. And it was every time I'm going through something, that's when I have like a tumultuous relationship with alcohol. But this time I think I really just sat with that and kind of thought like, okay, the only bad shit that's happening in my life is that has to stop. And nothing bad has happened to me since I stopped drinking. And when I say bad things, I mean like I lost my bag with my car keys in it one night, and yeah, and then just a lot of like drunk calls and all that kind of stuff, and like just like feeling really like shit about myself the next day afterwards, and then being in like a state of like depression for like a week as a result of that. And this is what I said in like the TikTok that I did yesterday. Like I feel like I thought I had a control of my pain, and that like I knew my pain, and like I'm not trying to mask my pain with alcohol, but I was like, whether it was subconsciously or consciously, like as soon as I had 2 drinks, the pain felt a little bit less, and then it was like, okay, I'll keep drinking. So, and then it would just end up, you'd be drinking the pain, but like the more you drink the pain, the more drunk you get. So I actually feel like when I go to Greece in a few weeks, that'll probably be the first time that I drink this year. But I need to also like check in with myself and just make sure that I'm 100% in the right emotional state for it, and that I'm gonna be okay. And I just don't think I've ever been in this state of mind before where I've like kind of thought like that. But also I really want to change my relationship with alcohol anyway. Like, why as Irish people do we just like feel the need to get absolutely hammered? Do you know, that kind of way? So yeah, it's been like really interesting, deep on all of these things. But I genuinely just feel like really excited for life right now, which is like kind of cool, because especially because like last year I was just anxious at all times. But yeah, I thought I would make that little video because I do think I'm gonna try and make more, because yeah, someone said it to me on my Instagram, and also my friend Anna was like, I miss your YouTube videos, I used to love watching them, they were always so comforting. And I was just like, that's so nice. So, and also I watched over all of my old videos recently, and I was kind of like, oh my god, like why don't I do that anymore? Like it's so nice to just have them to look back at, just for like the memory's sake. So yeah, I don't know how often this will be, but I thought I would use this video as like a I'm back as if anybody missed me. But yeah, I thought I would use this video, and it's probably kind of long and like maybe won't make much sense, and maybe it's just my thoughts rambling, but I guess like if there's a message I want you to take away from it, it's like, guys, our gut instincts, listen to your fucking gut. This week is actually going to be really busy, and I think it'll give you like a really good insight into my life right now, because while I do that on TikTok, I feel like maybe I don't show it enough. So I think it'll be really cool to kind of just show you what I kind of do now. Most days and most weeks kind of look the same, and it's just, and especially this week, I had a cold at the start of this week, so I decided to give myself like a really slow week. I have barely left my house. But that's really nice, because last week was like the opposite, and next week is the absolute opposite as well. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm just kind of rambling now, and this is really long, but I hope you enjoyed. And I think I want to, if I do, you know, keep making these videos, I kind of want to bring like a different approach to it, and just kind of make it a lot more like, I guess, slower maybe, and just like more long format. Yeah, I don't really know, but I think it could be fun. The thing about YouTube is, especially for me anyway, I think it's a community on here of people who really care about what I do, which is like really nice. So yeah, I think that's it. Also, myself and Anna are doing an event with Subtle Poison. This is really just tapping into like that, like really like bringing the freedom seeker and like the person who does a million activities, like bringing that to life through the brand. So we're doing a little community event. I think by the time I have this out, the tickets should be on sale. So yeah, they'll definitely be on sale by the time this is out. I don't know when I'll get this edited, but yeah, be sure to go have a look and see if there's any left. I'm hoping we're gonna sell it out because I think it's gonna be a really fun day. But yeah, feels nice to just chat to my camera like this. And I think why I always I can't shut up but I think why I always loved YouTube is just a real space of like vulnerability for me. So that's really nice. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and bye.